what's up you guys, this is Rob from the Gay Guy Plays, and today we're heating things up when we take a very quick look at the Mara Detron and do some testing on Thermagnetic Shells. Now, Thermagnetic Shells drops off of the following enemies in the Corpus Index. However, if the RNG gods have shunned you due to the lack of virgin sacrifices, you can always swap one money-hungry farm for another and pick it up in trade chat. Now, for those of you who don't know, this mod works on both the Detron and the Mara Detron, which are both radiation-based handheld shotguns, with the latter being an upgrade to the original that can be purchased from Barokatir when it rotates into his stock. Now, I didn't do a formal video on the Mara simply because it's a direct upgrade that features a faster fire rate, larger magazine, and reduced recoil. So basically, it's just better. If you want to know more about it, go ahead and watch my original Detron video, keeping in mind the Mara is even better. In fact, it made it onto my hit list of my top 5 favorite secondaries of 2015. Now, as for Thermagnetic Shells, when an enemy is killed by the Detron, this mod causes the enemy to explode in a 6-meter radius, dealing 80 points of magnetic damage plus 40% of the slain enemy's max health. Now, as compared to the other scaling damage mods, this one is highly underpowered. The Sobek deals 450 points of corrosive damage plus 45% in a 15-meter radius, while the Jacket Tags deals 300 points of blast damage plus 60% in a 6-meter radius. So already Thermagnetic Shells deals the least additive damage, the least percentage damage, and shares the Jacket Tag's 6-meter radius. And I mean, after the whole vacuum within debacle, I think we all know exactly how teeny 6 meters actually is. And as with all of these mods, remember that the damage is radial, meaning that the further enemies are away from your target, the less damage it deals. Now, the one thing that kind of disappointed me was the fact that this mod is magnetic based. Historically, with the Detron's innate radiation damage, players slapped on corrosive, making this the perfect anti-Grineer weapon, as it could effectively take on both types of armor. In addition, radiation suffers a 25% penalty against standard Corpus shielding, basically forcing it into its specialized role. Now, clearly, since magnetic suffers a 50% penalty against alloy armor, they're definitely not gearing this mod to take on the Grineer. Instead, Thermagnetic Shells helps the Detron compensate for its poor performance against the Corpus. And before anyone wonders, while the mod specifically says enemy max health, all of my current playtesting does seem to point towards it factoring in the max shielding as well. Either that or it's got a 100% chance to hit headshots across multiple enemy types and enemy positioning, which when I crunch the numbers actually seem to be less accurate than the former. But due to the fact that it's radial damage, it is difficult to gauge. Now, I'm actually going to show you 2 versions of my build starting with the Corpus, mainly because that's where I tossed on Thermagnetic Shells, and today, that is the star of the show. My Grineer version, on the other hand, doesn't use the mod simply due to the resistance of alloy armor. It's already a tough nut to crack, and wasting a mod slot on it does not help the cause. In addition, I believe I caught a video that suggested you use pure radiation on it in combination with mag, regardless of what enemy type you're going up against. Yeah, don't do that unless you're fighting something that actually has a weakness towards radiation. Use the appropriate elemental combo in order to deal the optimal amount of damage. There is a reason that I say that in every weapon video. Okay? Now, speaking of things that I caught on YouTube, interestingly enough, kills made by Thermagnetic Shells can actually trigger arcane trickery. I tested this out with the other percentage mods, however they do not seem to be affected by it, which leads me to believe that this may be a bug, so don't be surprised if it gets patched out. But I definitely thought it was worth mentioning. I'll toss a link to the video in the description box below if you want to check it out. So all in all, it is a fun little mod that gives you a boost against the Corpus crowd and honestly any unarmored enemy, especially when paired with a frame that has the ability to pack enemies into tight little clusters like Vauban, Mag, or Irradiating Disarm Loki. Otherwise, I'd suggest using the Grineer version of the build because, let's face it, watching hot men explode all over each other is only fun if you've stripped them down. Get it? Hot men, because the mod is called Thermagnetic, like therm as in thermal? No? Okay, whatever. So thank you all for watching this episode of The Snapshot. If you haven't already caught it, be sure to check out my latest In a Flash, which covers the Hollowed Nightmares event, the new Nightmare mods, and the Day of the Dead skin bundles. Or if you're in more of an inquisitive mood, this may be one of your last opportunities to leave a question for the 50k Q&A. Now, don't forget to do all the things that I ask you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, stay tuned for more amazing jokes that you probably don't get because you're not paying close enough attention. Here at Gay Guy Plays.